This is a video for those of you who are not Discord inclined. I'm going to show you how to edit some stuff. Okay, so I'm going to be using this. This is my Arc server. I'll go over how you should organize your roles because you don't want to have people who can, like, so if I was to move, say, there's a lot of roles in this Discord, obviously, but if I was to move, it's like a member role, let me find it here. So if I moved this up to the top, then someone up at the top could then open this up and they'd be able to access all of these channels. I'm not going to go into because they have some of the passwords and stuff in them. So you don't want to do that. So you want to keep your roles in the order that you want them to be able to access things. Starting from, the top one, which will probably have like the administrator, which this one probably does, moderator. So if it has moderator, that means it can do everything up here and then some. So this server is pretty large, so it's got like 2FA turned on, stuff like that. So only the owner, which would be me in this situation, can like delete the server or like prune members. If you don't know what pruning members is, you can go down to right here and it says prune right there. You hit that. And then if you have it set to everyone gets a role when they join, it's not going to show up with anything. So you got to go here and type in member. And then you'll see that it's 710 members you can kick now, or 449. So I'm not going to do, because that would obviously not be good for the server. So you can kick a lot of people like that. Then you could put in, you could just like put in whatever roles you want to. So like if you wanted to prune like just a specific role, you could put just that in. Like if you have people who are muted, because I have a muted role just for people who are muted. So there's no one in there. That's pretty much how the organization should go. So you go top to bottom. If you have bots, I always recommend you either do it one way or the other. So you either put all the bots up top and the bot role at the bottom, or you put this at the top and all of these at the bottom. Because this you can take permissions away from bots and give them all the same role and then give that role administrator, or you can just let them have all administrator and just put their role at the bottom. Either way, don't put, so if you have them at the bottom, I'm going to check right now because they might actually have it set the wrong way. If you have it set for the role to also have admin, which it does, so I'm going to turn that off because it doesn't need it. And I'm going to save them a lot of trouble because anyone, like a member, could have went in here and given themselves this role. And all they would have had to do for that to happen was to have accidentally left on this role right here, manage roles. If that's accidentally left on with anybody, they can go in and give themselves all these roles underneath. So I do not recommend that. As far as channels go, so you'll see that some of these are blank, like these ones, they're all blank, but these ones have like little locks next to them. That's because if I viewed this server as, or this channel as a role, they wouldn't see the ability to type here. You can look at the channel permissions and then down here. So again, the lowest role, so if you give it to member, every role above member is going to have the same perm. So you don't need to add the role for every single role that's higher. If you just add it for this one, that's enough for everybody else. So if you don't want anyone under member to have it, then do member, but do this for view, turn it like that. If you don't want them to send messages, just check this to X. If you don't care if they send messages, leave it like that. Anything that's middle, it will base it off of the category settings. So if you have category settings, which this one does, they're all set to neutral, because if you can't send messages, then there's no reason to X everything else out because they can't send messages in the first place. Same with if they can view it, but they can't. This is off by default. So stuff like this will be off by default. Anything that's an administrator permission, so manage channels, manage roles. You can also make roles that are just for appearances. So I'm the owner of this server, but I don't do anything with it anymore. So I'm in here under manager. Obviously, I don't need permissions because I already have them all. So like they're all pretty much blank anyway. They have administrator turned on for it, just because the three of us have been in the server for a long time. But this is pretty much this. If you do this right here, display the members separately. They'll just give it a separate little tab that is going to give it a little bit of, like, it's just going to make it so like this. So like how it says co-owner, managers, admins, partners. And as for the muted role, if you want someone to have a muted role, you can make this yourself. I don't usually put anything into it other than just muted, and there actually are members in here. You just literally turn off every single permission. And then when they have that role, pretty much they can't talk anymore. So this is a little bit chaotic actually in here. But organized, so this is my personal Discord, which is obviously quite a bit more organized. But it's also not many people in here, obviously. So I have a lot of voice channels set up, like these ones. So this one, only admins can join this server or this channel. This one, anybody who I give the permission of VIP can join this one, and then everyone can join these four. This server doesn't require you to have a role to be able to chat, so you do have the option in the React for roles here to click it, and it'll give you the follower role. But like you can make it so that you can give this role, it can be like an extra role. You can make it also there's like a member role, just so everybody has like a, just so that everyone has the same role and not just the gray, because the gray is kind of boring. As for the fonts, I use this website here. It has a lot of ads on it, but you can type anything up here in the top. And then you can scroll down and see all of these different fonts. I almost always use this one. I wouldn't recommend using one that looks like this because they're not going to be great. One of these might be okay. Bold cursive might be okay. It's not cursive, but it's close enough. Obviously, that's not going to do anything for you. I've used this one before. It looks okay. This one also has a lot of emojis. Almost all of these can be used. There's like 1,000 of them. So if I type something in here like that, I delete it. So it's got all these different options. Almost all of them can be used to like put them on the sides like this, just to like, make it look a little bit nicer. I do recommend this one because it has a lot of different options. So it's got this one, which will delete any message that you think that you put in there. So if it's just keywords, repeated text. So if somebody's like spamming the same sentence over and over again. It's got this one for external leaks and server invites. You can actually turn those off in your server. You don't necessarily have to use these, unless you have to upgrade for premium for it. But I do recommend upgrading to premium if you plan on using this in bigger servers, just because it has the React for roles, it has custom commands that you can do, and it also allows you to turn on alerts if that's what you're using the Discord for. If you're a musician, you can add music and songs. Category roles are going to be by default. So if I made a new channel right now, it would have the categories roles. However, you can go in here and edit the channel roles whenever you'd like, and it will change them. But if you change this categories roles, so allow us to go in here and make it so that nobody can view it, that would change stuff. But if I went down, would add reactions, that wouldn't change anything for these channels because their roles are already preset. So we also have our rules. I recommend putting this in here too, the terms of service and the community guidelines, because Discord does recommend you have those posted somewhere. And then I recommend as well that you make your Discord rules as detailed as you can, so that way anything that happens in your server doesn't really have a chance of blowing back on you. If you wanted to be able to use capitalization, you can see what I did here with these. So they're audio channels, but they can't be joined. It's just because when you use an audio channel, you can capitalize letters, and it's just a little bit easier to edit. Also, it appears at the bottom. Default audio channels will always appear at the bottom. You can't drag them over a text channel, but you can drag them over each other. I always recommend you have a ticket tool system in place, because that just makes it easier for people to reach the admins without having to DM you, without having to do anything extra like that. This right here is called Disboard. So you can set up a link. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be Arc. The Disboard is literally just anything. It's got, you can get reviews, you can get, which obviously these are from a long time ago. It shows how many members you have, how many are online. So you can search up anything. So if you run an RP server or a Hangout server, anything at all. But I think that's just about it. So roles are probably the most important thing, is making sure that the roles are set up properly can be a game changer. If you're having an issue where, let's say, somebody wanted to post in here. So if you have this set to letting them view and chat, I would also just go to add everyone, let them view and chat as well, because that could be what's creating you not to be able to. So embed links is turned off for that one, but it's left on for this one because, like I said, everything above that role is going to be what that goes off of. So I'm not quite sure if it overrides or not because I've always just turned both on or both off at the same time. Because this is the bottom row right here, and this is just the even more bottom row. So if I like had mods in here, I'd have like everything turned on for them, and it would work. So like some of the roles in here feed off each other, so like you can attach files and embed links. But if you can't embed links, then you obviously can't attach a file. So like these kind of go hand in hand. So like if one's off, the other can be used for some stuff, but like it's kind of hard to. And see, like I said, mentioned add everyone needs to be turned off as much as you can be. Application commands used to be a thing you needed to turn off, but now a lot of bots use them. So you just need to make sure you have it set up correctly. Otherwise you could, like I can do things like with like a lot of these, like the verifier, like obviously nobody would need to use something like that, but also like the Discord uses those. So you just need to make sure that you can go in, and if administrator is not turned on, they won't be able to use administrator slash commands. So like if I go down to head admin, got admin on, admin team does not have it on, but they can still use slash commands, I believe. Admin team is not turned on, so they can't use slash commands to do things like purge the server, to do things like, delete a channel or anything like that. So like I said, you just need to make sure that you have your roles going in order of how you want them to appear and what abilities you want them to have. This one is in order just because like so from like here down, all these roles do the exact same thing. It doesn't matter where you're at. So you can unlock these roles by inviting people. So the more you invite, the like more blue it gets. It's just how it is. And these are like different dinosaurs from the Ark game. And then it looks like they just added in some like custom roles for people that asked for them. But I think that that's about the most that I'd say that is the basics. If there's anything else that you guys think of, let me know in the comments, and I will make another one. Bye.